Welcome to part 2 of Ba Duan Jin. Ba meaning 8, Duan Jin steps. So this is the main body of the exercise. So if you've seen part 1, you've seen just the warm-up portion, which is just including the hand exercise. This one is the middle portion, or the 8 steps. So this is the main body again. And a few things to keep in mind when you're doing the exercise. Check your stance. If feet are apart, generally it should be about shoulder width apart. Generally you like to have the feet parallel. If they are out slightly on just from a natural standing perspective, that's perfectly fine. Also check that the hips are slightly tilted inwards and upwards. So you want the pelvic to come up. So it's like you're tilting it up. Think of it as a satellite dish and pointing upwards. As well, the crown of the head is pulled up. When you do these two things, you're going to notice if you happen to go to a wall and you stepped against that wall, you wouldn't be able to put your hand. If you stood at that soldier stance, then you could get your hand through the lower part of the back. So again, keep that hip tilted forward and upwards, and the crown of the head up. That straightens that lower back. And also check your knees are bent as well. A couple of other things to remember is during the exercise, whenever our hands are moving up, for example, when the arms are moving up, we are breathing in. So we're going to breathe in through the nose, and the tip of the tongue is curled to the top of the palate. This helps to start circulating the energy in a circular fashion in the body. Now, when the arms are moving down, you want to place the tip of the tongue at the bottom of the mouth and bring the lips apart just 2 millimeters at most, and exhale. So exhaling doesn't mean to blow through the mouth, it's more of a yawn. So those are a few things to remember. So let's begin with the first exercise called holding ball. So check that stance, feet apart on this one. And from here we're going to start by taking a breath in through the nose, and then exhale through the nose. So that's just the first, that's breathing naturally at the beginning. So let's do that again. So we're going to breathe in through the nose. As you exhale through the nose, open the palms to the front. Now you begin to inhale. Remember, tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth whenever the hands are raising. You're going to watch your hands now peripherally. And once you're at the ceiling area, or to the sky, you're going to reach for that ball in the sky, but you're going to separate the upper half of the body from the bottom half. So you want to stretch. Only for a split moment, and then relax. Start to exhale. So again, tip of the tongue drops to the bottom of the mouth, and the lips are ever so slightly parted. So once the hands drop to about the chest level, you're going to push forward. Now make sure that the wrists and the forearms are about 90 degrees. And keep pushing upwards. And then push up with the heel of the hands. Reach for that ball again, stretching from the stomach area. And then exhale all the way down. And continue to watch the hands. So throughout the entire exercise, you always want to keep your eye on your fingers or your hands. This way it helps to keep the mind focused. Now each exercise does have a benefit or a purpose, very similar to the hand exercises. Everything's based on acupressure, acupuncture theory, or traditional Chinese medicine theory. Now, again, remember the hand position to finish off as well. And this exercise stimulates the Sanjiao meridian. Now, Sanjiao just basically means triple heater or triple burner. So imagine there are 3 furnaces in your body, and each of these furnaces have to work in harmony with all together. And this helps to bring balance in the system, so you can keep that temperature of the body at that important temperature. Now, the main purpose of it as well is to move the Qi through the entire body. It's kind of like starting your car first thing on a cold morning and you're getting the car warmed up. So basically the same idea. Now here we go. I'm just going to show you that entire set again. So start by breathing in. Exhale out. Hands open, so that's in and out through the nose. Now in through the nose with the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth. Watch the hands here. Reach for that ball in the sky. Stretch from the stomach, and then exhale. Again, watch those hands. Arms are parallel to each other here. Push forward. Bring those fingers back. You want that 90 degree in the wrist. This helps to stimulate the immune system. Push up, reach for the ball, and then exhale all the way down. Placing the right hand on top of the left. So remember, it's the fingers that are parallel to each other, the thumbs touch. Same, has a very similar effect as placing the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth. Now we move on to number 2, which is called shooting arrow. And the purpose of shooting arrow is to stimulate the lung meridian. And you'll see by the exercise that we touch an actual lung point. So lung point 1 is a soft point in the front of the shoulder area. You actually will this is an actual acupuncture point, although we place the needle to the side. And by stimulating the lung meridian, or lung points as well, you can benefit through lung situations, so respiratory tract disorders. From here, the thing to remember is when you step to the left side, so everything is always done to the left first. And from here, you're going to step out to the left, you're going to move the left arm. So just remember that. And when you move to the right side, so right leg moves out, right arm moves out. So once you have that down, you've got about 25% of the exercise. Now I did forget to mention at the beginning, each exercise is done 7 times. So number 1 is 7, number 2 is 7, and so forth. The only one that does differ is number 8. But I'll mention how many times to do it once we get to that point. So again, let's start by taking a breath in. And exhale as you step out with that left foot. Now, your stance can be as wide as you want or as narrow as you'd like. And the farther you go out, the more challenging it is on the legs, which is a good thing if you're looking for a little bit of exercise or strengthening the muscles in the leg area. So you began by breathing in, you exhaled as you stepped out. Now you continue to exhale as the knees bend. Prop those hips forward. So again, that pelvic props slightly forward and upwards. Now you're going to begin by inhaling with the left arm coming up, touching the right shoulder. So there's that lung point I was talking about. The right hand now crosses in front of the left forearm. So if you've ever pulled on a bow, a string of a bow, this is exactly what we're going to do. So imagine the right hand is pulling on the string of the bow, the left hand with the thumb and the index finger pointing outwards with the other 3 fingers curled inwards is going to push to the left side. Now at this stage you want to check that your right arm and your left arm are parallel to the floor. And again, make sure you have a 90 degree at that wrist area, or at least the best you can. If you do have a wrist joint issue, go to where you're most comfortable. If this is even posing a challenge, you can actually point with 2 fingers, similar like when you used to play when you were kids pointing a gun. So from here, focal point is between the thumb and index finger. Arms are parallel. Check that stance. Now push that chest out forward and then release the arrow or the fingers. Now you're going to watch that left hand come in all the way to the center of the body. It's going to meet the right hand in the center. You're going to roll the right hand into the left and thumbs touch. Shift the weight to the right leg and slide up the left leg. So now I'm going to demonstrate this on the right side. So doing it left and right is considered 1. So that's 1 set. So you do this 7 sets. So again, start by breathing in. Exhale as you step out to the right side. Bend those knees, prop the hips forward, release the hands, place the right hand on the left shoulder area in the front, cross the left arm in front of the right, look to your right, pull on the string of the bow with the left hand, right hand, index finger and thumb is pointing outwards, other fingers are bent inwards.
Once you find that focal point between the thumb and the index fingers and checking your arms are parallel, push that chest out and then release the arrow. Now watch that right hand come in. Again, always watching the hand helps to keep the mind focused. So once it connects with the other hand, roll the right into the left, touch the thumbs, shift the weight to the left side, slide the right foot up. So that one was called shooting arrow. So now we move on to number 3, which is half ball. Very similar to holding the ball in the sky. We're going to separate the feet so that they're both shoulder width apart. And very similar to number 1, where we're pushing with the 2 hands, we're going to push with 1 hand. So again, remember to keep that 90 degree. By doing this, this helps to stimulate the immune system. Now the right hand is going to come up onto the hip. You're going to begin again by breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. Now open that left hand. You're going to keep your focal point on the index and middle finger. From here, you now inhale with the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth. Bring that arm up, rotating it to the back. Again, watching your shoulder for any possible problems there. Once the hand is to the ceiling area, imagine you're reaching for a bulb in the ceiling. Now check that you're stretching in this area. You want to separate the top half from the bottom half again, and then release, exhale. So tip of the tongue drops to the bottom of the mouth, watching those 2 fingers. Once at the chest area, push forward and breathe up. Push up with the heel of the hand, reach for that bulb, and exhale all the way down. And from here, inhale with the left hand coming up. Exhale with the right hand going down. Inhale with the right arm now rotating to the back and up. Once it's at the ceiling area, reach for that bulb, and then exhale down. Inhale as you push forward. Again, tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth. Push up with the heel of the hand, reach for the bulb, and then exhale all the way down. Again, remember to keep focus on those 2 fingers. And that's half ball. Now half ball, the purpose of that is to stimulate 2 meridians, and one is the stomach meridian. The stomach meridian starts from the front of the breast area all the way down the front of the legs. Now that's the reason why you stretch, and this stimulates those points and the meridian points. And the spleen is when you're pushing to up on the left side. Your spleen is on the left side. So spleen has to do with the immune system, pushing the fluids through the body, or moving the fluids through the body. It also helps with digestion. Very similar to the stomach meridian, you have benefits with the digestive tract. So anything to do with that would be of benefit. So those are the 2 main purposes. Now going on to number 4. This is where the hands come up onto the hips. And through a few points here to remember, when the head, this one's called turning head, when you turn your head to the left, you want the chest to start rising upwards. It's like you're separating the upper half from the lower half. So the stomach curves in. When your head stops where it's most comfortable, being always careful with how far it goes, best thing to do is always go 1 step at a time. But once your head stops to the side, continue to look with the eyes. So force those eyes to move to the center of the back. And this will help to strengthen the eye muscles. One of the purposes of this exercise is to strengthen the eye muscles. When you move your eyes back and forth like that, you help to strengthen the muscles around the eyes. The other benefit to this exercise is helps to strengthen the neck. Also helps to release tension in the shoulder area. Also, by turning the head back and forth, you're expanding and contracting the carotids in the neck area, which then forces blood up to the brain. So when you get oxygen up to the brain, it can help with headaches, with mental clarity, those sorts of things. Alright, so let's do this again. Hands are on the hips. Feet are parallel, or not, they are parallel, but they are apart. Shoulder width. So check that stance, hip forward. Now we're going to begin by breathing in, turning the head to the left, lifting up that chest. Once the head stops, continue to look all the way to the back and check to make sure your chest is parallel to the front here as well. Now as you start to exhale, bring that head back, sink the chest back to the center. Now bring up that chest, looking all the way to the right. Bring up. Once the head stops, you want to look all the way to the center of the back with the eyes, and then exhale back to the center and relaxing the chest as well. Moving on to number 5, twisting hips. From here we start off by breathing in and exhaling out. Hands are open to the front, so very similar to number 1, but feet are close. This one you don't have to watch the hands, you don't have to stretch. So you're inhaling now. You're going to dive forward. So keep the arms in the back in line. Now, if you have a situation where you can't become parallel to the floor here with the upper body, you can go this far, or you can go this far. All the exercises can be modifiable. So find the point where it's most comfortable for you. But if you can go parallel, that would be your goal, or that's the ideal position. Now from here, you want certain things to check. Check the weights to the front of the toes. Check that your neck is straight. If you need to look at me in the video at first, that's fine, but just drop your neck once you've learned the exercise. Now from here, the lower back is rolled slightly, and your knees are straight. We're going to begin by inhaling and turning the hips all the way to the left side. And then exhale as the hips come back to the center. Now one of the things, main purpose here is, or one of the things you need to do is keep the upper half of the body, this part, on a straight line in front of you. What you want to do is, or avoid to do is this. And then, because if you turn the upper body all the way over, you're going to lose the benefit of the exercise. So again, I'm going to start beginning from the beginning again. Inhale as you turn the hips all the way to the left. Exhale as you come back to the center. Inhale as you turn the hips all the way to the right. So point that buttocks all the way over. And then exhale back. You're going to do it 3 times, or 3 sets at first. And then, so from here, let's exhale, release the hands, and then inhale on the way back up. And then check those shoulders. So when you do the initial first 3 sets, just give yourself 2 or 3 seconds so that the blood settles back down. You're going to do this 4 more times after you've done the set of 3. Now the main purpose of this exercise is to relieve lower back pressure. When you relieve that lower back pressure, if you have any back issues, you'll find relief. So especially if you have pain in the lower back, this will bring benefit. Also, this helps to regulate kidney functions. So let's go to number 6, lean back, dive forward. And the main purpose of this one is to stimulate the urinary bladder tract in this area here, so where the femur connects with the pelvic girdle. And thing to remember here on this exercise, and I'll be walking you through shortly, is imagine there's a bar at the lower part of your back. You want your hips to prop forward or push forward, and you're going to lean back like a rag doll. So this one's called lean back, dive forward. Start by inhaling. Exhale as you bend those knees. Inhale as you roll that chin up. You want this area to stretch. Great for vocal, strengthening vocal cords. So if you're a singer, this is perfect. Now, exhale as you push those hips forward. Release those arms. Inhale as the hands come up. And then exhale as you dive forward. So you want the body and the arms to line up.
Once you're in this position, if it's possible, place the hands on the floor and push the palms down, keeping the legs straight. Inhale as you start to come back up.
And then release. So when you continue to do the whole set, when you inhale on the way back up, you can continue. Now you exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, and then dive forward as you exhale again. Okay? And inhale on the way back up. You want to roll that back. So by stimulating the urinary bladder tract, one of the benefits that I expressed and my instructor had mentioned is if you have a situation where you're constantly going to the bathroom throughout the evening, this helps to lengthen those gaps between bathroom breaks. So great exercise to do for that situation. Now we're going to move to number 7, which is called empty fist. The toes move in, and you want a triangle point with your, or make a triangle shape with your feet. This one here stimulates the liver meridian, and that's the reason why you bring your toes in, is when you come up onto the toes, the heels are going to move up. You stimulate the big toe. The big toe is the starting point for the liver meridian. When you stimulate the liver meridian, you're pushing blood through the liver a little bit quicker. This can create a detoxifying effect, which can bring out the emotion anger. In traditional Chinese medicine, anger is associated with the liver. So by stimulating it, for some people that can bring out the emotion anger. And you'll see in a moment that the hands will release, so there's a symbology in the sense that you're letting go of that anger. From here, begin by opening the hands to the front. Now imagine you're holding on to eggs in the hands. So you're holding on to them like you don't want to break them. Okay, so they're fresh eggs, so very gentle, no tightening up of the fist here. The hands are going to follow the sides of the body. The elbows are going to go back. You're going to come up onto the toes. Check that also that your shoulders then do this. They're going to drop. You're going to squeeze those elbows together, and then you're going to release the hands as you exhale. And then you're going to push down very slowly, and then bring the hands back. So I'm going to show it from a front perspective. So remember, the feet, toes are pointing to that triangle point. Close those hands, holding onto the eggs. You want to make sure you have very loose fist here. Bring those hands up along the sides of the body. So you're inhaling at this point. Keep the shoulder down. Once the hands are at the breast area, you're going to come up onto the toes, squeeze those elbows, and then release the hands. And you'll be exhaling at this point. And one of the reasons why you come up and squeeze those elbows, there are points right along the shoulder blade area. If you run your thumbs along somebody's shoulder blades, this helps to calm that person. Very similar to a child who's crying a lot, and a parent will always rub their back. So kind of the same idea. But you're doing your own massage here. So you squeeze those elbows. Those are emotion points along the shoulder blade, and by doing that, you're also releasing emotions by doing that. Moving on to number 8, final exercise. Feet come out either shoulder width or slightly wider. This one's called riding a horse. The main purpose of this is to detoxify through the bottom of the foot, and this also helps to bring the energy back toward you. So the thing with doing this type of exercise, the energy tends to scatter outwards. Now you want to gain everything back, all that energy bringing it back towards you. From here, you're going to bend the upper body slightly forward. You're going to bend the knees and bring up the chin. So your body is almost vertical at this point. Arms are nice and loose, shoulders are loose. Come up onto the toes, heels are lifted. And the idea here is to sit down and come back up. So you want the hips, the knees, and the ankles to work all in unison. So you want the up and down motion as if you're sitting down, coming back up, and then the arms are nice and loose. They're going to flop up and down, very similar as if you were riding a horse. And in this exercise, you do 100 of these.
Now initially, you can do this however many times you need. If you have to stop at 70 or 80, that's fine. But work your way to the 100. And your focal point is at the bottom of the foot, right where the ball, where you're coming up and down. This is where you're detoxifying. You want the mouth slightly open and just allowing the air to come out on its own, almost like you're yawning. Okay. And that ends part 2.